Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day from all of us here at FlexiBees and Times Ascent Group. Thank you for joining on this lovely Sunday afternoon or evening, as the case may be. I'm Deepa, one of the co-founders of FlexiBees, a company that provides re-employment and flexible work opportunities to women, especially mothers who are returning from a career break. We do this by providing them with part-time and work from home opportunities that match with their past experience and the current life stage they are in. I have with me two wonderful mothers and ambitious career professionals. I'm so glad that Rutuma Wadkar and Trishi Vaid, two of the consultants whom we have placed via FlexiBees, are here to share their insights, wisdom, and a little bit of stories about how they have managed to balance this parallel track of ambition and motherhood, right? So often we don't usually talk about ambition and motherhood in the same sentence, right? So we have set out to change that at FlexiBees. We believe that ambition and motherhood, in fact, career and motherhood, all go hand in hand and can complement and supplement each other. And I'm sure you will also agree with me by the end of this webinar after hearing the wonderful stories of Rutuma and Trishi. Before I move on to them, I would like to give a very small introduction of myself, because I'm also such a mother, an ambitious mother and a professional. So before I started FlexiBees, actually, I was myself on a career break, a maternity break, and I found it really hard to get back to work on a full-time basis. There were a lot of questions around my commitment, whether I'd be able to do well, even in full-time hiring. The main issue was there were not enough flexible work options which did justice to my past experience and my education. So that was the seed for this idea of FlexiBees, and me and my co-founders, my friends and batchmates from IIM Bangalore, we decided that we have to change this for helping women, and to change this in a way that is sustainable. We made it into a business. So that is a little background story. And I have an 8-year-old child. She's very soon going to be a 9-year-old, and feels like a teenager though. So it's been an exciting ride having two children side by side, FlexiBees and my daughter. And this is a topic which is very, very close to my heart. So now that we have lots and lots of people joining in already, it's so nice to see all of you giving your time for this. We hope to learn from your experiences as well. You can ask us questions, you can put them in chat, you can share your opinions on the topic in the chat, and whenever we get a small topic break, we will also address those. So now moving on to Trishi and Rutuma. Rutuma, you are on, Rutuma's on mute, I think, Nirmam, you need to.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So both of these wonderful women, please go on mute. I think.
Yeah, sorry, I muted everyone again. Just unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I have muted it. Just unmute yourself, Rutuma, and can start. Sorry, Deepa, you're on mute to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. So both of these women have come to this path of flexible working from different life journeys and different career paths. But now they are both with FlexiBees and working part-time and work from home. Trishi is a very, very old hand with us. She has worked on multiple, she's been with us for many, many years and worked on multiple projects. And her nudge has been motherhood itself to turn to flexible working. And Rutuma has joined us a little bit more recently, and she's doing stellarly well. And her nudge has been the pandemic. So let us hear from their own words about their journeys. Rutuma, I would like you to, if you You can bring your child also.
I'm so sorry.
No, there's nothing to be
I'm
sorry
I
about.
was about to say, how do you guys manage?
I'm alone with them, and my husband's working, so that's why. I'm
No
so sorry.
problem. He or she, how old is?
I have twin toddlers,
Oh,
6-year-olds,
okay.
boys.
If they don't mind, they can join you as well.
No.
We can say hi to them. No problem. No
We would
problem.
love to have them on the call.
Process.
Yeah, Rutuma. So how come so tell us a bit about your background, professional background, and what made you think about flexible working?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So I have been working for the past 16 years. I've specialized in marketing and content marketing. I've started my career with media, and finally I was working on the client side close towards the pandemic. So the pandemic, we worked, everybody was working from home, and it became very difficult because I was like, we were working 24/7. I was barely functioning on 3 hours of sleep. It was very tough. That's when I decided that I reached sort of a burnout because of the hours that I was working, plus managing the house, managing the kids. That's when I realized I think I need to quit. My husband also was like, just quit, because it's not worth your health. It's not worth your mental health. That's when I quit, and I took like a 2-month break. That's when I was wondering what I wanted to do. That's when I came across FlexiBees on Instagram. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
That's when I came across the ad on Instagram, because I had started I started signing up on these different platforms for freelance projects, because I wanted to do something different and I wanted to keep myself occupied as well. That's when I came across the ad on Instagram, and I signed up, and I was signing up across different platforms. But then after about 20 days, I got a call from one of your consultants, and they took me through the profile that, they were interested. They explained what FlexiBees does. And I was pretty aware because I had gone through your website. At that time, the app was not launched. So I had gone through your website, and so she took me through the profile that was there, and I was pretty interested. In fact, the first project that I interviewed for was not part of something that I'd ever done. So I'm a thorough marketing person. I have never done business development. I've never done sales. And I took up the profile because I wanted to challenge myself. The reason being that it was not a desperate situation, but I started losing a lot of my confidence because when I quit my job and we were not doing anything at home, and I've never not been working.
Yeah.
So I started losing my confidence. I started seeing people, everybody was doing these online certification programs.
Yeah.
I actually even signed up with one of them. I wanted to see if, I could maybe up my skill, but then I went through the course and I'm like, okay, this is something I already do. So, I was very shaky. I was very confident. I thought my career is over. I'm never, ever going to be able to recover or get back on track post the pandemic. And nobody knew what the market is going to be like, once things opened up. So that's when I said, okay, I need to challenge myself to get out of this gloom that I had put myself in.
Yeah.
So I took up the role, and I enjoyed it. Like, I was working on it till the last month. So it was amazing. Then she also offered me, the consultant offered me another project. So I spoke to her, I worked with her. I said, this is all my experience. Can you please, I can take up smaller projects based on my experience and my skill. So she knows exactly what I am good at and what I'm not. And she, works with me very closely on that. So I enjoyed working on FlexiBees projects. In fact, the timesheets that you guys share is something that, whenever you're working on a full-time job, one second, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So in every job that you go, you're supposed to add like a job sheet, to add your details of what you've done. And it used to be a task, at a full time, because you're already spending 8 to 12 hours there, and then you're but working with FlexiBees, I realized how important that timesheet is, because it made my work more productive. Like, I was more productive in 1 hour than I would be in, say, probably 4 hours. So I for the first time in my life, I started realizing what it is to be a professional, because you're only focused on work. You're getting the work done in those 4 hours, 5 hours that you're working, sometimes 6 hours if it requires, no issues on that. So I think, and I actually learned a new skill, because I started seeing the projects that I could do, the time that I had to spend, because I was being so productive, thanks to your timesheets. I actually learned a new skill, which I think I would have never done. Never.
What is that skill, Rutuma? Can you speak about that?
Graphic designing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you talk a bit about your role? What is this role what you're doing, and then what is the skill? Where did it get added on?
So one project is completely business development. I don't name the client. The other project is a digital strategist role, but the team is newly launched. It's a startup, and they don't have somebody to make the designs. They didn't have any branding as such. So that's something. That's when I took I took a subscription of Canva, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do this. So they love my work, and my contract's been renewed, and that really boosted my confidence. Now, and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, Rutuma. Kudos to you for getting out of that sad phase of where you want to work, you need to work, because that is where your passion lies. And I hear you, because that was exactly my position too before I started FlexiBees, that so much of our identity is growing up, educating ourselves. Our parents have invested so much in ourselves. And we have seen success in careers, in full-time careers. And then suddenly, when there is no career and no work to look forward to challenge oneself and prove oneself, it can be actually depressing. So there is no better word to describe that situation. And that can hurt confidence. It did hurt my confidence as well. Right. So because you don't know if this is what you're meant to do, if this is all life is about. So I completely hear you, and kudos to you for getting out of that phase and taking it so positively and building on your skills while getting this new experience. Great to hear that, Rutuma. Thank you. Now moving on to Trishi. So Trishi, please, for the benefit of the audience, tell a little bit about your career, your past professional roles, and how did your transition happen to flexible work?
Okay. Hello, everybody, and happy Mother's Day to each and everyone present there. I started my career with a Fortune 500 in the SAP SD domain. So I was a consultant. The job requires a lot of traveling, and I had worked for close to 6 years in that profile before I had to take a sabbatical after maternity. But during the sabbatical, I just realized that my kid is lactose intolerant, and I could not go back to work because of so many issues. Because 2010, nobody knew about what it is, how to cope up the stuff. The replacements of the milk were not available that easily. So a lot of issues, and also there was no family support system in a way that I can step out of the house. So I took a break. So I thought probably maybe a few years down the line, probably I'll get back to work. Even I just started looking out for work after 2 to 3 years, when I thought probably my son has started preschool and probably I can get back to work. But IT is an industry that if you are not in the place or not in that zone, you are irrelevant. So you have to do a lot of study. You have to do a lot of, upgrading yourself in terms of skills, certifications, and a lot of other things. But, I don't think, at that point of time, that was very feasible for me. So fortunately, I had an opportunity to join a friend of mine who was starting a startup in the services domain, which is not something which I wanted to, work at. But still, I did not have anything in hand. So I thought probably, maybe I'll get a little bit of experience and I'll spend some time and I'll start to balance my, both the things. So I started working with him. I established that organization to a point that, we had a full-fledged 30-35 people team working, and, the organization get going. And somehow I happened to, reach to FlexiBees. I had registered on the website at that point of time. And one day I just got a call for an interview. So I thought, okay, why not try that? And the first interview I gave, it was a IT organization, a SaaS company, to be very precise. The role is very similar to what I was doing earlier, like my 6 years of experience, which I had in. But still, I was not too relevant for the profile. But a lot of discussions with the internal team or the person I was, in discussion with, they helped me a lot in understanding what the client is looking at. So, that helped me prepare for the interview. I, after 6 or 7 years of a break, I gave my first interview and I cracked that. I started working on that first project in 2017 through FlexiBees. And when you are, starting off a project, you are not sure that how you are finishing off your work in 4 to 5 hours. So my day was usually spread across the day. It was a US client. So I was working through the day for my task. I was working with the client in the night for the calls. So, I was busy whole day. But in a duration of 2 to 3 months, I just managed my schedule and I somehow felt that, I can take one more project. So I took one more assignment. And the beauty of, taking a lot of, and also there is a opportunity of taking a lot of multiple interviews just to gauge where you stand. And a lot of companies which comes through FlexiBees, they are startups. And there is a lot to learn. So you are learning without spending money, you're upgrading your skills and you're earning at the same time. So that is something which is very exciting. And also with each project, so till now, I think I have completed more than 8 to 9 projects. There are times that, I had even worked on 3 projects, if my time permits. Because, I think we as moms are, too good at multitasking. So I could multitask between multiple projects. And during these last 7, 8, 9 projects, there is a lot of learning, and I have moved from, business analyst role to more of a strategic consultant role, where we work on opening of the new markets for the clients. So if these are, startups or mid-sized organizations, if they are looking to open up new offices across the globe. So now that is my strength. So I can help companies open up their new offices, strategize it in a way that, new business development along with strategy, that is something I'm doing. And if you say that, 5 years before, I could not even think of that I can do that. Because total IT, SAP consulting, and now this is something into strategy. So it is not that you are growing older, but you are also stepping up the ladder in a way that, probably you're not working full time, but you are as par with your peers. So your learning is, in fact, I think my learning is even more than the peers who were working with me earlier. Because, 7 or 8 projects, 7 or 8 CEOs of startups. So there is so much to learn and there is so much which comes on the table. And it has been a wonderful journey with FlexiBees. And I can only say that in the last 4 to 5 years, I never thought of getting back to full-time work. That is the beauty of it.
It's so inspiring to hear your journey, Trishi. So the kind of space that you came from, you accepted the change, right, which life gave you in terms of a different career path. And you not only built on it, but I mean, you've like gone places with it, right? So you have like made yourself, invested in yourself so much. And we are really proud of what you have done and what you are able to show to others, that what is possible, right? If you have the right attitude, it's really wonderful. I would like you to share this. I think I remember you're talking about this new market entry. So,
yes.
So any moment of pride, anything, anything you want to share, which about this particular transition which has happened?
So in one of the projects, it was a mid-sized organization with 1,000 plus employees. The organization is 15-year-old and they have their deep roots in the Indian market. But always they wanted to get to the US because the company is into artificial intelligence and they, the major work is in the US. So it's been a very long journey with them. So it's, and another thing which I just want to highlight is the projects usually come for 3 months. But it is not that, after 3 months, you're not working with the client. If the client is happy, your contracts are extended. And it can be extended for years together. So that is not something that, you are learning and, you think at some point of time that, you have given so much to the client and they are not renewing. It is never that. If you have put something on the table, they are there to support you. So they are there and you don't feel that, you are a part-time employee with them. So it is as if you're a part of team, you're the part of all the strategic discussions. So in that project, I was a part of strategic team. I was taking care of their overall digital strategy in terms of lead generation and everything. And once the COVID ended a bit and the US market has opened up, fortunately, we have started a new office in the US and a bit of team has moved from India to there and we have started our operations there very recently. And I am a core part of the team.
Wow, wonderful. Hats off. So you actually helped the client enter a really big market and post-COVID, right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And all the while balancing your home, right?
Yes.
And without giving up or any compromise, basically. So really, really inspiring. So now coming to the other aspect of motherhood, right? So Rutuma, can you tell me how is life itself working flexibly? So any key changes you want to talk about from your past full-time career life to the flexible working life? Are you able to get time for what you wanted to do in the home and around kids?
Yes, definitely. The flexible working hours really helped me. Like what I was never able to do in 16 years is something that I started doing thanks to the flexible working hours. I get to spend more quality time with my kids and my dog. I get to do a lot more at home because ultimately I'm living with 3 boys. So you can imagine the state of the house. I could concentrate on myself in terms of my health, in terms of my self-care. I could experiment. I actually like cooking. I don't do it because I'm supposed to cook, but I like cooking, and that is something I could experiment, get my kids to eat much better food rather than just relying on my nanny, because at my full time I'm at work, I don't know what's going on at home. So I could put in a lot of effort into my kids, especially because they're growing up and you saw how naughty they are. So so I enjoy the flexible working hours, although I have my own fixed times of working, which I continue, and I think it's more productive because it's not something you have to do; it is something you're choosing to do. So it's like your own entrepreneur. We all have these dreams that we want to start a business of our own, and I knew that I did not have it in me to do it. But this working FlexiBees has given me a sort of a confidence that I never had when I was working full time. When you're working full time, you're working for a company, you have obligations, you have certain policy rules, certain cultures, certain things that you have to follow. You have people to deal with. Not that I don't like dealing with people. I love dealing with people. But this was very refreshing. I could focus only on work. I could focus on getting better. I could focus on addressing areas where I was not good at. It gave me a time to think of how I can be better, because when you're working full time, there is no time. There is not just rushing in and out, especially in Bombay. You're just rushing in and out. You're just you're at work. You have to get things done within those 8 hours, and then you have to reach home. There are 10 things that you have to do. At least here, I can focus on everything very good, very well. And the best part that I think what FlexiBees gave me is that it's a platform that has given credibility to working from home, or credibility to working from working part-time. A couple of years back, if you tell somebody you took a sabbatical, especially in India, because that concept is not accepted, it's not getting accepted. Even today, it is not getting accepted. I've given a couple of interviews, and when you say you've taken a sabbatical, they don't accept it. They want to, but it is just there's always this they have that thought in their mind that something's not right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it makes them little fidgety, and
Seems like a compromise. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
But when I say that I'm working FlexiBees, they really all perk up and they're like, okay, what is that? Can you explain that? So I explain the concept and they find it very interesting. And I think what you guys are doing is fantastic, because I think every woman today needs to be financially independent. I think
Absolutely.
being financially independent is crucial to your mental health, is crucial to a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
It gives you the confidence to speak up to certain. There are some women who are not privileged enough like us. They can't even, even if they want to speak up, they can't. I think, my mom always said that you should always have some mad money stashed away. You're a woman. So I think being financially independent is very crucial today. I think every woman should, and I think I would like to tell every woman today that you have FlexiBees. I think if you have FlexiBees behind you, you don't have to worry about anything. You can take anything today. That is how I feel. This is my state of mind.
Right. There's so much to take away from what you've said, Rutuma. So actually we also say in our mission statement that we want to change the world and change the definition of how work can be done. Right. So it's like, it's not that work has to be 10 hours, 12 hours in the office and delivered in a certain way and form. So work can be done part-time. It is being done. Wonderful work is being done on a part-time basis across all kinds of roles, right? It's like whether, high-end IT sales, like Trishi has been doing, you have been doing business development, and different kinds of sales, marketing, digital marketing, finance, HR, technology, every kind of work which can be done from the office in a full-time environment can be done in a part-time environment and from the home, right? So that is what we set out to change, and hopefully we are getting there, where the world also gets to see this as a credible and a legitimate option of a career.
Definitely.
So it's really, really great to hear that. And your point on self-care again. So, and mothers actually face the brunt of this, right? So, and especially if you are a working mother, so it's implied that you take care of how to manage the work while being a mother, right? So I think a lot of the thinking, the mental load that people say, the tax of carrying it all in our head of even that's quite high. So even I struggle with it. I'm very, very poor at self-care, and slowly I have learned that caring for myself actually helps me be a better mother, be a better professional. So I think it's very, very valid point. So sometime even a year back or a year or 2 years back, I began self-care regime in the sense of hobbies and things like music and writing and things that inspire me. So initially I thought, oh, I'm not working, so this time is getting wasted in this.
Right.
But I felt like when I did that, my mind was so rejuvenated, so refreshed, that the actual hours of working became so productive. So I think this, whatever be the self-care for you, it can be a spa for somebody, it can be meeting friends for somebody else. I think it's that's an integral part of the life balance that we talk about. It's not just all duty. It's not just all things to be done. So a very, very relevant point you brought in, Rutuma. Trishi, you have anything to say about the sense of balance that you feel, and anything around self-care, any of the topics Rutuma raised?
So I think the major benefit which I felt when I am working from home is, my son is a very calm child. He's 10 now. He has a sense of security that mom is always around. We have recently shifted from one city to another. But he is grown up to a stage that, it was very tough for him to leave the house, to leave his friends who have been with him from the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
But the change is not, getting onto his mind, because I am there.
That
So that
security
sense
is
of
there.
security, that
Stability.
sense of belonging and stability is there, that mama is there, so me and mama will manage, because mom is always around. So I see him growing as a very happy child, rather than a very aggressive child when, the parents are not around. Some kids who don't have, any support system at home, they tend to be very aggressive these days, because, it is not same as how we have grown up. So everything has changed, and kids also, they can't explain what they are feeling, but you can sense that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the biggest thing for me, and the values and other things which when you are around, so the whole ecosystem changes.
Absolutely.
So there is a biggest change, which I feel, my friends feel, my family feel, which is more than, I think, the blessing of working full time.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very nice points again. So this feeling of stability that child feels, especially right when the mother is around, I think it's a great one. In fact, I feel that it is a moving goal. In fact, from what I see from my experience, it's not like a stable thing that there is this 50% balance today. It seems more like every day it's a different mix of balance. In fact, just to relate to something which happened recently, a few weeks ago, I was struggling with this with my own child, that she was getting a bit more impatient, a bit more intolerant, and so then we were thinking, me and my husband, of what's happening. Is this friendship issues which happen at this time? What is it? Then I figured that what has always worked in my life is, when I've had issues with my child, is to say that it is something to do with me. So I have to fix something. So then I remembered that, and then I figured that I was actually spending lesser time with her in terms of overall balance, because of some things which were going on at work and other commitments. And then I fixed that, and then all the other problems disappeared. So it was like, it is, I think the children give us signals, and we just need to hear them and heed that that thing that comes from within. I completely get that. So wonderful. Okay, so do we have any questions from the audience at this stage for any of these lovely mothers, Rutuma and Trishi? You can either raise your hand, or you can put on the chat to know how they have balanced, and what is their take on balancing ambition and their careers. Yeah. Okay. No questions. I also feel, sorry, Tulika. Via this medium, when you're a working mom with a part-time job, won't have the guilt that comes along with the eyes of people around. Kid obviously has a support system. Also, one does feel more connected with their kid, dedicating more time and attention. True, that is true. I think we kind of get the best of both worlds. You're absolutely right about that. Yep. So, so both of you, Trishi, Rutuma, you have transitioned from full-time career. Trishi, you have taken a career break. Rutuma, you took a shorter break and then you came back, right? So I want to know, Trishi, what would be your advice or guidance to women who are coming back from a break? So what can they prepare? How can, is there any preparation, and did you do any preparation? And how can, looking around, how do you think a woman can prepare herself to get back to the career after a break?
So I think preparation as such, if somebody is coming from an IT background, preparation is very tough, because you have those huge books, the biggest of the 500 pages or 1000 pages books to read, but you did not have time because your child is smaller, because probably you are a new mom and you wanted to get back to work, so you are still struggling to find the time or a me time to study, to step out, to upgrade yourself. But register yourself when you're creating a profile on FlexiBees. put all the relevant things which you have done in the past. So probably you will find a best match very similar to the skill you are already having. That will make your entry little easier. Because as I told that, my first project is very similar to business analyst role. A part of which I have done in the past. So, I had few things for the interviewer to understand about, I have done this, but probably, I have not done this in a longer time. I will take some time, but I can do it. I can learn again and I can do it because I understand the process.
Right.
So something which, you are already aware of. So take a very similar project, even if the payout is less. Don't worry on that because you are getting back to work. Think of the first project as a learning opportunity because the first interview you crack will be a bigger boost to your confidence.
Absolutely.
And then probably when you're working, your confidence will boost up because then you are back in the industry. You're talking to your peers, you are talking to your bosses. You understand what technology is going on, what is going on in your particular project. Then, probably second project, you are a pro. And also the team, which is, part of FlexiBees, who help conduct the interviews, they explain the requirement very nicely. So even if you have to read something or, you have to refresh on something, so you can just take a gist of that from Google, nothing else. No major preparation is required because even the interviewer, if the companies are coming via FlexiBees, they understand that women are on break. So probably they don't know 100%, but they can work. They are hardworking, they can work.
Okay.
I would like to add something to what Trishi said. That so I would request everybody who's signing up for FlexiBees to be patient. One, give as much information as possible to your recruitment officer who's assigned to you. Understand the profile properly. Take a day or two to understand the profile. Finally, when you get shortlisted and you're at the interview, be honest with the client and say that these are things that I do not have experience in. These are things that I'm really good at, but this is how I can contribute and how I can, learn. And the clients you guys get are wonderful. I mean, my experience has been amazing. I love all of them. I have a personal relationship with them also. So I think the good part is to be honest, and the second thing I would advise is to trust your recruitment person. Trust them, trust the person from FlexiBees talking to you to analyze because they understand how it works better than you do. So it's better to trust them, be patient, as and when, and like Trishi said, that even if the project is small, take it up, because working from home, working part-time, it's a completely new thing. So take your time to adjust. For example, my sister, she recently joined FlexiBees, and she wanted to, because she had just come out of a pregnancy, and she, like me, has also been working for the last, 14, 15 years. And she's like, I'm getting fed up sitting at home. I want to work. I said, okay, why don't you do FlexiBees? Speak to them. I made them speak to your consultant. She got on board. And initially, in the first 2 weeks, she was a little stressed because she wanted to give her best to the project, and she was trying to juggle between managing the little one, managing her 5-month-old, and getting back to work, because through the pandemic she was not working. She was on maternity leave, so it took her a while to get back, but I guided. I said, be patient, be honest, tell them. And I told her that FlexiBees is extremely flexible. They are the only people, I think, in this country who understand what mothers go through. They understand when your kid is crying. They understand when your kid is unwell, because most of the time when you're working at full-time roles, when you say that, I can't come tomorrow, my kid is unwell, they think it's an excuse. So I said, they just trust them. They understand, and they're so flexible. I think being patient and focusing on yourself will help you go through the whole transition of working full-time versus part-time. It will definitely make you more self-reliant, because what happens is when you're working a full-time, you're relying on a team. You have a specific role, that's all you do. But here you're doing everything. You're managing your work. You're managing how you conduct yourself, everything. And the good part is that, and second, I would want to say that, everybody has this notion that women are not good with technology. But I would really, really just go out there, look for tools that can help you make your work better. Even because you're working from home, you don't need to ask anybody which tool you want to subscribe. Do your research, get these. There are so many free AI tools available today that can help you do your work better when you're working on a project with FlexiBees. That is what has helped me. I have become so much more productive in those 4 hours, in those 2 hours. I can work on so many different projects at the same time. Think about so many different things. You're not stuck at doing one job, So utilize the online tools available. Do your research. You might find it boring, but once you get on a tool, it will definitely help you. And I love FlexiBees, so I can go on.
Thank you, Rutuma. But very lot of useful nuggets, both of you, Trishi and Rutuma, on how to prepare, what kind of thinking is needed, right? So a flexible thinking is also needed to come back to a flexible job. So it's not, things need not be 100%. You need to be a bit patient with yourself first, right? So there will be a learning curve, and learning curve is not only for the work, it's also for the family, right? The family also has to understand, accept, adjust. So, and we have to be patient while the family catches up with how important this is for us. So I think it is a journey of transition for the whole family, and in terms of getting back to work, and little bit of so basically we need to learn to let go of things on our plate at the home also, right? So can you talk a little bit about the adjustments that your family has made, or you're trying to make, or to make this work? Either of you, which of you wants to go? Trishi or Rutuma? I leave it to you.
So in one of the projects, I had to travel. So it was, a monthly travel to out of station location. And, first time when I traveled, I flew in the morning and came back at night, though it is very taxing, but because I was very new to travel, leaving my child alone.
Yeah.
So, I was not too sure how to do it. And, but second time onwards, I, even started enjoying it. And I was like, no, I am going to stay and I am going to come back tomorrow. So and that is, after the office, meeting everybody, that is the me time, after years and years of traveling as a family together.
Yeah.
So, after 7 o'clock, I was like, I don't have anything to do. I had to explore the city on my own. So, that adjustment, and during that time, my husband, stepped in and he was like, okay, don't worry. I'll take care of the child. I'll drop him to school, pick him up. And I'll come little early. I'll take half day.
Yeah.
Once in a while, all these 7-8 years, he never dropped my son to school.
So he's learning. Yeah.
So those 2 days he has to step up.
Absolutely.
So, that was something which, because he's in a traveling job, he's in sales, and he was traveling 15 days a month.
Wow.
And we are so used to that. But when I was traveling, I said, Mama, you are going? I also want to come along. So I was like, no, only Mama has to travel.
Yeah.
So then, that was very refreshing as a part of job, and also very welcoming for a family also, because I never thought that they can adjust it so well.
They can, right? Yeah. True. Sometimes even that same thing happened for me also on travel. I thought, okay. So in fact, I was more worried all the time. How are they going to adjust? So seems like they didn't remember Mama that much. Things were fine. So great. I have one more thing to explore. I think we are probably at the end, and in case there are any questions, we will take it. So Rutuma, Trishi, maybe Rutuma, you can take this one first. So this, so work from home also requires, this part-time roles also requires a good amount of motivation, right? You have to be self-motivated. Of course, any career requires a good amount of motivation. So how do you balance out motivation on a day-to-day basis? So does it remain the same? Do you have to put some effort? How do you pep yourself up?
To be honest, I think when you love what you're doing, I don't think there's any requirement for any kind of motivation. And also motivation is a very short-term feeling, you know.
Yeah.
I would rather, I personally do not rely on motivation or, you know, motivate. I don't motivate myself. So I rely on only one thing. If I love something, nobody in the world can stop me from doing it. I am going to do it.
Right.
And I can carve out the time, whether it's 3 o'clock in the night or whether it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I will get the job done.
Right.
That is how I am. Yes, there are some people who require the motivation. I think what I would recommend is finish your chores in the morning. Get some little bit of exercise in. I think that gets, you know, ready, and lots and lots of coffee. I live on coffee, but that's just joking. But I'm saying that getting the housework out of the way is something that will free you, and you will be able to put in the effort, right? And I think once you've got the right job and you're really enjoying it, I think there is no motivation. I think if you really like doing it, like for me, I'm like, okay, now when can I get on to it? You know, like it's like that.
Okay.
So I'm very happy once I drop my kids to school because I can then do what I want to do.
Okay.
I get on my work at like 9 a.m. even though it's okay if I can start at 12. But I get on to my work at 9 a.m. I get on to things like basically I have a checklist. Timesheet. That's what I'm saying. That timesheet is so important. It helps me organize my work. Helps me organize my time. Everything. So I think if you love what you're doing, I don't think you need the motivation. You will be able to do it. It will take time. It will take a month. It will take 30 days to get used to yourself, to figure out the right time that you are productive, the right time to do the job. And that's the beauty of FlexiBees. They give you that flexibility to do it at the time that you can carve out for yourself.
You are productive, correct.
Yes.
True. And for professional and high-end intellectual work like we do, that is important for us to be at our best selves at work. Right. Absolutely. Great. Do you want to add on anything, Trishi?
Yeah, contrary to Rutuma, I'm not a person who is, productive 30 days a month. So I get into that zone once in every few days that I am a lady lad and, I don't want to do anything. So I just want to lie whole day. So, that is the beauty of one day off in a month. I usually take that when I'm very low on energy. And also when you are working with the clients, so you do have your weeklies or, daily calls.
Yeah.
So the daily call is your, to-do activity for the whole day. Or probably the whole week. So, and also when you are on a project, your client understands that, this is the sort of work which has to be completed over a week. Yeah. So you can complete it in 3 days and you can complete it in 4 days. And one day you can, simply log in and just check your mails, and not necessarily you have to work 4 hours that day. And probably, I do that many times because my husband works on Saturdays. So I usually work on Saturday at times. It's probably mid of the week. I don't, spend so much of time on one project. So I just balance it.
Right.
Because I do have visitors. I do have parents visiting me now and then. And, even friends and play dates and, going to my son's school for PTMs and everything.
Yeah.
So I balance it out.
Yeah.
So I don't plan my day that, I'll work 9 to 12 in the morning, then, 4 to 6 in the evening. I spread it through the day. I am available on phone calls anytime, morning till evening, or, even late nights if something is very critical. We are always active on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That is there. So connectivity is never lost. But yes, I do take a lot of, me time in between during the week if I'm not feeling too well. So I just split my work accordingly. Sometimes, at times I also work, 7 to 8 hours in one day for one project.
Right.
Because there are some things which are critical and has to be delivered. So I just balance it out. And the client also understands. So this way, you just have to, complete your hours of working, and the work has to be completed. So it is never that, you have to work 10 hours and then even you can spread 2 to 3 months and still the work is not completed. That never happens.
Right.
So probably, little older into that FlexiBees way of working. So I am in that comfort zone seat now.
Right. Yeah, also in different different ways for different people, right?
Right.
And it also changes according to the role, when the role also
Yes.
changes. So sometimes what happens, I jokingly tell my family, I replace one worry with another worry. So, so I have enough. Yeah, so if I'm bored of solving one problem, then I have other problems to solve. So, but then the mind also gets into a problem, a creativity zone, right? When you give a break
Right.
or something. So yeah, and it basically the flexibility basically helps us in our thinking, also thinking the way that particular project or engagement and our personality demands. So wonderful, so many insights, guys. It has been a pleasure actually learning from both of you, Rutuma and Trishi, and I really look forward, we will do this more. And any questions from the audience? Otherwise, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. We have slightly overshot the time. Okay, I think no questions as such. All right, thank you everyone for being here, and do check us out. We are on www.flexibees.com, and also go through the Times Ascent, what they are doing for Mother's Day. It's really inspiring. You can take a look. And do consider registering. If you're looking for part-time work from home jobs, do consider signing up with us. You need to download the app. So now we are on the app where things are a bit more focused and helpful for the women. So it's recruitment is entirely skill based. So it's based on whatever skills you have, like Rutuma was sharing. So it is about the skills and not so much about number of years or number of any numbers per se. So we really look forward to having more mothers working flexibly and balancing their ambition and life. And happy Mother's Day once again. It has been an utter joy being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.